whenever I'm making a record, there's always a lot of time spent waiting around. You know, it's like making a movie. You're waiting for them to set up something or whatever. And so oftentimes I'll have a little notebook and I'm thinking of album titles and I'm scribbling down album titles. And like with the last album, for example, I kept going with Bob Rock. You know, I had, what do you think of this? And you know, you go, nah, you know, and finally there's one that just sort of presents itself, and it's like, yeah, that's the album cover. And with Forever Endeavour, it was actually a few years ago when I was writing the songs for, it might have been Time Being. I had an album called Time Being. But when I went and bought the journal, you know, I bought a blank journal to write lyrics in. I have this tradition now where I write something on the front of it. Like one time I wrote Book of Changes, one time I wrote, you know, Exit Strategy, you know. And even though I don't know what that is, if it's an album title, it's just sort of something to name, something to put on the cover. And I'd written Forever Endeavour a few years ago, and I always thought that was kind of a clever word play. And I was surprised that I don't think it had been used before, you know. And it might have even been on the list of titles for my last record, but it was just one of those ones that I kept coming back to, and it just, you know, it just seemed to fit with this batch of songs. The only problem is that whenever I tell people the title, I always have to clarify, because I think they're going to write Forever and Ever, and that sort of, you know, defeat the purpose. But you know, that's one of those things I really enjoy, is naming the album. You know, and I think I've come up with some pretty good album titles. Sometimes the album titles are better than the album, actually. You know, so that's my experience anyway.